drive the 13 Mitigator Ford Fusion. I'd like to thank you for listening to Let's Talk Racing.tv.
Driver of the number 5 Kiker Motorsports Camry. Welcome to Let's Talk Racing TV.
With Rockingham Speedway. Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Timothy Peters, driver of the number 17 Toyota NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, this is Dylan Smith. I'd like to thank you for listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, I'm Amber Colvin. I'd like to thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
I'd like to welcome everybody to Let's Talk Racing tonight. We already have on the phone Mike Hembree.
Hembree, yeah.
Hembree.
Mike Hembree is from Spartanburg, South Carolina. A dear friend of mine, known him forever and ever and ever. He's been covering NASCAR almost as long as I have. A multi-time award-winning writer, currently works for Speed. And Mike, like me, you were not in California last weekend, but I'm sure that you have some ideas and opinions, as I do, about what happened. And our viewers and listeners probably are tired of hearing from me, so I'm going to ask you. First point, do you think Logano intentionally tried to wreck Hamlin on the last lap? And if you did think he meant to wreck him, certainly you don't think he meant to hurt him. Is that a fair statement?
Oh, sure. I think it was just hard racing. It was racing for the win on the last lap. He appeared to bottle a little bit from the going through the turn there, and just sort of lost it for a second, and that's all it took to put the cars together. I never even gave a second thought to the idea that he might be actually just purposely trying to take Hamlin out there. I just thought it was good racing.
If what happened at Bristol had not happened, would this be that big a deal?
No, I don't think it would be in the discussion. So many people were looking for something to happen, and maybe a lot of them wanting something to happen, that it just became, I guess, normal to react to it that way when something did happen that I think was just part of the race. It's what you do on the last lap. In a situation like this, you try as hard as you can to win, and the other guy is trying just as hard, and sometimes that's what happens. It just doesn't. Two cars can't go where one is meant to be, and it just happened from that. I understand the reaction to it and the thinking that maybe one was out for the other, et cetera, but that track is not the place to settle something like that. Maybe next week at Martinsville might be, but I think you rarely see guys, even guys who have a grudge against somebody, trying to retaliate against them in a situation like that. It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, although Gordon did that pretty much at Phoenix last year, but that was uncharacteristic of him also. Now, Mike, you've been around long enough to have seen, you saw Cale and Donnie wreck, you saw Richard and David wreck, you saw Earnhardt and Labonte wreck at Bristol. Through the years, and again, you've been doing this a long time, and I respect your opinion, through the years, do these things generally even out, or does Hamlin, now, of course, in Hamlin's case now, he may think he owes him one because he's going to miss some races, apparently, but over a career and over a 20-year time span, Mike, do these things kind of even out, do you think?
I think they mostly do. I guess the one driver who was never really evened out, quote unquote, was maybe Earnhardt. You saw some guys fight back against him occasionally, but if you wanted to put down a scorecard of how many races he won with tactics you might consider somewhat questionable, at least, I think he's way ahead in that game. But I think one of two situations usually happens. The guy who was on the receiving end in the first incident typically will try something, maybe something subtle, over the next few races if the opportunity arises. But if it doesn't, I think it mostly goes away for most guys. I don't think they ever really forget about it, but I think time kind of solves some of those issues. And typically the two guys will get together at the next racetrack or the next time they're around each other, and if they don't solve the issue, at least they talk about it and get some of the tension, I guess, sort of removed from it. Not to say that there's not payback, because I think there is, but it all depends on situations, racetracks, where you are in the race. If you're running along 20th and you come across some guy who stepped on your toes a couple of weeks ago and you think you might want to give his finger a shot, well, go ahead. You know what? Who's going to lose anything?
Yeah. You were in the media center at Daytona a couple of months ago when, I don't know if it was me or someone asked Richard Petty about getting even, about beating and banging, and he said that when he and Pearson wrecked at Daytona, there was never the first moment that he felt like Pearson did anything unfairly toward him, and he said Pearson didn't think for a second that I did anything unfairly toward him in that wreck. Mike, times have changed a whole lot. Do drivers who have those types of run-ins today, do they sort of accept it as part of racing, or because I don't think Rich and David, they may have chatted about it maybe the next week at Richmond or somewhere, or Rockingham, but I don't think they ever had any harsh words about it, other than what Pearson said to Eddie Wood on the radio. But did those drivers accept that more as part of doing business than these newer kids do?
Well, generally speaking, yes. I think the bigger difference you have today versus then is that, then there was so much less media concentration on what was going on, and, now you can't have a minor incident on the far back stretch at Sonoma without the whole world knowing about it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And people jumping on Twitter to say, driver A is at fault, driver B, whatever. Everything's under a microscope now. Then it was, everything was much more laid back, and you talk about the Petty Pearson crash in the '76 Daytona 500. I don't remember any conversation after the fact in the days and weeks following that about those guys being irritated with each other or whatever. It was racing. You're trying to win the biggest race on earth, for those guys anyway.
Yeah.
And you can see the checkered flag out there in front of you. You go for it, and they hit each other. That's just what happens sometimes.
The only thing I remember Pearson and Petty ever getting into it about was the year that Petty was leading the 400, took the white flag leading. I'm sorry, Pearson was leading, took the white flag leading, and just abruptly lifted going into turn one and kind of made Richard pass him. And then David, being the sly old fox that he is, one of your guys, repassed him. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Richard came to the media center that afternoon during Pearson's interview and said basically that wasn't very smart. That was not like David. That's not the guy that I know. But that was the end of it. They didn't get into it face to face. Richard just kind of came to the media center to say he didn't think that was quite the professional move. Were you covering then? I mean, was that something you're aware of?
I was not at that race. I don't remember that happening, but
But you remember the time Pearson basically lifted and made Richard pass him going into one on the last lap of that race, and then drafted by him on the backstretch to win. And Pearson's contention was, I knew that if I didn't get him in front of me, that I'd never beat him because he was going to come by me like I went by him. So, but there was never any acrimony. There was just a brief moment of, well, that's not like him. That's not the kind of guy that I expected this to happen. And Pearson said, well, I pulled over. It wasn't like I slammed on brakes and let him run in the back of me. But it seemed like there was more respect back then, even between Richard and Bobby, than there is between some of these guys now.
yeah, I agree with that. I think David and Richard just choose to interpret the events of that race differently still, and I think they have different interpretations of the 76 500 finish. But it doesn't boil and fester and become this bubbling controversy like it can now. And again, I think a lot of that is the landscape. Even though the media presence at the racetrack is down considerably, obviously for reasons that we don't need to talk about, but when you have TV cameras all the way around the track and in the track, for Pete's sake, and every place you can get them, you're not going to be able to do anything that everybody in the world is not going to see and want to talk about. So it builds on itself, and you get the first driver's reaction to what the other driver did, and then you go back and get the reaction to that, and it's kind of a continuing soap opera that is difficult to end.
Yeah. Mike, we'll get you out of here on this last question. Did you have any issue whatsoever with what Logano did on the restart with 11 to go? That Stewart tried to pass him and Logano blocked him, and we've seen people blocking forever. Do you have any issue with that or with what Tony did afterward?
The only issue I have with that whole situation is the fact that Tony got upset about it. I mean, we're talking about one of the sport's great blockers of all time, getting mad because somebody did the same thing to him. And it's been brought up that, he caused the big crash at Talladega by blocking, I guess it was Michael Waltrip. It's not really a situation where you can compare the two because
Let's talk racing.
I think blocking is a much different thing at Talladega than anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But people who defend Tony want to say, well, it's different at Talladega, but you've seen Tony race enough to know that he does that a lot of times in a lot of different situations, and usually gets away with it, and it's generally acceptable. So I was a little bit surprised that he got so upset about that situation. I was less than impressed, let's put it that way.
Of course, the other deal is that Tony restarted, if I'm not mistaken, fourth, he'd been on the inside, he'd have been third, fifth, or something like that. He started pretty close to the front with 11 to go and he ended up 22nd. You got to wonder whether his frustration boiled over not so much about being blocked on that restart, but from finishing as poorly as he did. And I don't really know what happened between that restart and the last lap for him to fall so far back, but you got to figure that might have been part of his anger at Logano. If Tony had gone ahead and finished second or third, we might not have heard a thing about it.
Well, that was a mystery to me where he did finish, because I checked the results as soon as the first official result sheet came in, and I was looking for Tony, 8th, 9th, 12th, whatever. I kept putting down the list.
22nd.
How did he finish this far down? And I've got to believe he got so mad at that particular moment that he just lost focus and drifted back with all the cars going crazy those last few laps.
Mm-hmm.
I don't stop short of saying that a guy like Tony Stewart just kind of gave up on what was going on, but you got to kind of have to wonder how did he finish so down the list there when he was so high in the order?
Yeah. Mike, listen, appreciate your time and appreciate particularly you making time a little bit earlier than we thought we'd need you, but I hope it worked out well for you. I will see you at Martinsville a week from
this weekend.
A week from Friday. Yeah, a week from Friday. I'll see you at Martinsville. I'll bring those magazines if you bring my jacket.
Okay, that's the deal.
All right, safe travels, Mike. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Hello, Garrett. How's it going?
Hey, it's going great. How about yourself?
Hanging in there.
We got phones ringing all over the place here. Hold on. We don't know what's going on.
Hey, Sean. All right. You're supposed to be calling at 7:30, I believe.
Garrett, just hang on. We got people calling in from all over thinking they should be on right now.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know how I got
Just
you
hang on
at
a second.
7:15, but I got you listed on the thing for 7:30. But yeah, go ahead and call back in about 15 minutes. All right, thanks.
Another great scheduling.
The next caller is calling in 15 minutes early, even though it says 7:30.
Another great scheduling coup by our boy Roger.
Oh, hey, if we can mess it up, we'll go for it.
All right, take over, Roger.
Hey, Garrett, how you doing tonight? We'll try that all over again.
All right, cool deal. I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Pretty good. First time, I think, being on the show. No, maybe we've had you on before. But anyway, go ahead and give me a brief resume so the people that are listening can learn something about you.
All right, 10-4. Well, my name is Garrett Marchant. I'm 16 years old. I compete in the NASCAR Wheel and All-American Series at Southern National Motorsports Park. And I also race at Orange County Speedway every once in a while. And run the Southeast End of the late model source. So, pretty busy guy. But, yeah, just doing what I love. And anybody out there that doesn't know, they can check my website, GarrettMarchant.com.
Cool. Now, how long you say you've been racing this? Been racing now?
Well, this is my second year in late models, but it's my fourth year total. I began in 2013 racing front-wheel drive four-cylinders, so I definitely came a long way since then.
Well, cool. You got Al Pearce also here. He's with Auto Week.
Garrett, like most young racers, I presume, and if I'm wrong, it won't be the first time, I presume you started in go-karts, maybe something at that level and worked your way up, or did you get in a full-bodied race car right off the bat?
No, sir. The first thing I drove was it was I can't remember what year. It was a front-wheel drive Chevrolet Cavalier, and I raced the Coast Plains Raceway, and that was the first thing that I drove. I didn't have experience go-karts, quarter midgets, anything like that. My dad threw me in a four-cylinder and told me to go for it, so I started.
Okay. There aren't many people who do it that way now. Most of the guys that worked their way up into NASCAR, up into big-time racing, started with go-karts, particularly open-wheel drivers. If I'm not mistaken, maybe I don't think I'm mistaken, the only NASCAR driver who ever mounted to anything who did not do anything except stock cars was Ricky Rudd. The first car race Ricky Rudd ever drove in was a 500-mile, what was back then, Grand National race at Rockingham. So who knows? You might, if you're starting out in cars, that may be a good learning ground for you. Something to think about.
I actually think that it's a better route to start out like that in a four-cylinder rather than a go-kart or something, or even a Legends car at that. For the simple reason, the size of the cars for one thing, and just the feeling that you get is a whole lot different. I mean, it would be harder for a go-kart driver jumping to a late model than it was for me to go from a four-cylinder to a late model. I made the transition in 1 week. I had one practice for the first race, and we qualified 13th and went out and ran 10th.
Okay. What actually fueled your interest in racing? I mean, you say you're 16 years old now. You started driving when you were, 14 or 15 or so?
13.
Okay. Did you play any so-called stick and ball sports? Were you a baseball player, basketball, football, anything, or has it always been just racing?
I was a baseball player for a good bit. I had interest in it whenever I was, probably 9 or so, and I lost interest in it pretty quick. I caught the racing bug whenever I was about 11. My dad was racing at East Carolina Motor Speedway,
and he went out and he ran third that night. And I told him after the race, I said, I'm gonna be a race car driver. And they shot him half dead because I had nothing to do with the sport up until then. And we went from there. And like I said, it's just been going smoothly since then for the most part.
Is he still racing now, or has he turned his attention to you?
He's turned his attention to me, but with the addition of my new crew chief, Mark Lucy, this year, it's allowed him to get back in the cockpit some. I think he might start racing midsummer or so, and it's actually kind of cool because my granddaddy's racing with me this year, so we might have all three of us on the racetrack at some point this year.
But not in the same class, not in the same division?
Yeah, same division.
Oh, my gosh.
Friendly, free for all.
Man, I tell you what, yeah, I'm thinking I'm sure your mother then gets to worry about her son, her husband, and grandpa. I mean, that's asking a lot of a lady to be at a racetrack watching three people race each other.
Well, I mean, I'm the best out of all of them, so all that.
All right, now where are you from originally?
I'm from Kinston, North Carolina.
Yeah, I know where that is. Yeah, I'm from Rocky Mount originally.
Oh, cool. Well, I live in Grand Rapids now. So,
Okay.
It's about an hour from Southern National Motorsports Park where we race at, so it's pretty convenient.
Yeah. Now, when you go to the racetrack, you go right down 95, I presume.
You're correct. Go down to exit 107.
Okay. Yeah. It's too bad. I know that you're in Roanoke Rapids. I know for a fact that there's no good barbecue in Roanoke Rapids.
There is none.
I know that. Right, you got to go to Rocky Mount.
Justin.
You got to go to Rocky Mount and get barbecue. It used to be Bob Melton's on the Tar River. It's now Gardner's, but actually I said that thinking I might get a rise out of you because I know people who live in Roanoke Rapids. They swear by a place, and I wish I could remember the name of it. They swear by a place in Roanoke Rapids. I cannot think of the name of it, but they say there's great barbecue there, and we always argue about barbecue. So, now when will you race again? Now, Southern National, they opened this past weekend, didn't they?
No, they actually opened March the 2nd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've been racing for about a month now, but my next race is going to be April 6th out there. We're actually going to practice this weekend. We've had motor issues and electrical issues all season long, so haven't even gotten to finish the race, didn't even get to start the second one.
Okay.
Anyway, we got things fixed out. Motorman's coming to the racetrack with us. I told the team to replace everything electrically in the car, and I kind of regret that now after getting the deal back from the parts guy. Anyway,
well, welcome to Big Time Auto Racing, son.
Well,
get ready for that.
You see, my parents kind of stepped back this year, and they left it to me and my sponsors. So I'm kind of having to learn here. I got mad, and I said, just replace it all. And so they did it. They did as I said, so I can't complain. But no, we're gonna go out. We're gonna be fast this weekend. I mean, the motor was missing all the way around the racetrack. For our last race, we ended up not being able to start because there'd been a valve. But the motor was missing all the way around the racetrack, even when I was off the throttle. And we were second quick in one practice and fifth quick in the other. So I mean, you figure that's a half a second to a second that we're losing from that miss all around the track. Hopefully we've got that corrected this weekend. We're going to practice, and like I said, we're bringing the motor guys to the racetrack. If it ain't right, we'll figure it out somehow.
You spend some more money and get it fixed. Now you are in your mid-teens right now, and I know that there are drivers who are in NASCAR's upper divisions already who are not a whole lot older than you are. Kyle Larson, for one, is not much older than you are. Greg Galding, I think, is about your age. Do you have any sort of timetable or schedule for when you'd like to move from late models into maybe a truck ride or two and move from there into Busch or Nationwide? Do you have a schedule, or are you just playing it by ear?
Well, next year I want to run some late model stock stuff and all that. I want to do that whole deal. But I've also like to make my Canyon debut next year. I've been offered a ride, and it just got to wait on funding. That's what it comes down to nowadays. And like I said, funding comes along, I could run a Canyon race this year. I've been offered it, and very good team. if anybody wants to get in touch with me about it, like I said earlier, go to GarrettMarchant.com. They have a contact portion of the website, especially on the sponsorships page. So check that out and get to us if you're interested. But yeah, I mean, I believe with all my heart that by the time that I'm 18, we can be competing full time in the Canyon division, and I'd like to be trucks nationwide by the time I'm 20.
Okay. Now, the K&N Series comes to Richmond this year. It comes to Langley Speedway up here in Hampton this year. Without giving us any secrets, are either of those two tracks maybe where you might try to make your debut, or do you know yet?
If funding comes along, potentially.
Okay. Yeah. And if you're going to run a late model stock car, you probably could not find a place more competitive and more challenging and more beneficial to your career than Langley.
That's for sure.
It's a tough track, about 4/10 flat. It separates the good guys from those that think they're good. So if you do move up to late model stock sometime soon, you ought to look at Langley. Go to South Boston if you can, Southern National, but you should at least give Langley give it a shot.
All right, be right back with you.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like I said, me and my dad actually made a deal because I'm not going to say our point sets are over at Southern National. We're behind very big time, especially seeing as last race we got no points.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we're behind over there, but we have a deal. If I win a race at Orange County, I think he's going to let me run late model stock.
Oh, okay.
And he said that he would pay for me to run one race for the end of the year.
Okay.
That being said, I'm planning on running late model stock by the end of the year. So.
Yeah, well, I'm sure other people are giving you this advice. I'm certainly not trying to run your career, but the thing you do not want to do, you don't want to become a one-track expert. You don't want to spend your whole career winning races at one place, and when you go somewhere else, you get your doors blown off. So, even if you have a difficult time at Langley or a difficult time at South Boston or Orange County, you got to go there. You got to run every configuration you can find, and at some point in time, you'll think, you know what, that was good training. That was the best thing I could have. And you may not win a whole lot, but you'll learn more, and down the road, it'll help you a whole lot.
Yeah, and we're touring around a lot this year, so that's something that we decided to do at the start of the year. And say we're going to visit about 7 racetracks or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get some experience. I know we're going to run a race or two at Myrtle Beach. We're going to run Orange County, Caraway, Southern National, Dillon.
Yeah, go to Motor Mile. Go out to Radford while you're at it. Run out there. There are a lot of good tracks you can go to, and you can get a good experience everywhere.
The thing is, I can't run South Boston, and I can't run Motor Mile because my car isn't legal to run there.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
We run where we can. I've raced South Boston before, though, so I didn't have very good luck there. I think I got crashed on the backstretch every race. I was the driver. But anyway, yeah, we're going to have some fun this year, win a bunch of races, and I think we're going to win championships, too.
Okay, good. That's good positive attitude. Last question. When you were growing up watching racing, what drivers did you look at and say, I want to be like him, or what teams did you really kind of gravitate toward?
All right, well, I don't know if I'm going to get some hollers or boos or what for this. My favorite driver is Elliott Stadwell. I live about 5 minutes from him, so I like Elliott, but I look up to, whenever I was growing up, and even to this day, I kind of model myself after somebody like Carl Edwards or somebody like that that's very respectful to the sport, to the fans. That to me is the most important thing, your off-the-track attitude and the way you treat the fans. At the end of the day, that's all that matters. Any of us can get out there and drive a race car competitively, especially up in the NASCAR divisions. So what really separates you is how you can connect with a potential marketing partner and your fans. So anyway, that's my look on it. But as far as the team I looked up to, I wouldn't say there's any. I know the one that I want to drive for, Hembree Motorsports, but who doesn't?
Well, you and like a zillion other guys. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, that one's kind of, everybody has the same answer to that. But
yeah, and I may be wrong, but I'm betting right now. I'm willing to bet barbecue lunch somewhere that Elliott Sadler will drive the 11 car at Martinsville in 10 days. So
My crystal ball says that too.
yeah, everybody thinks that Sadler will drive will sub for Hamlin as long as he needs the substitute. So, and one more thing, you mentioned Carl Edwards, and I'm glad you brought him up because this is my pet peeve as a journalist, as a writer. If you ever do a press interview, if they ever put a camera on you, either
Sunglasses come off.
absolutely. How'd you know that? Good for you.
I do it because I do it myself.
Good for you. I was about to say, Carl Edwards is the only guy I know that does it. Somebody said one day to me, well, Richard Petty doesn't do it. I said, yeah, but when you win 200 races and 7 championships, you can wear your sunglasses too. But until you do that, take them off. I noticed Logano didn't take them off the other day, and Stewart didn't take them off the other day in Fontana. Carl did. So I'm glad that's, believe me, as a journalist, that's a big thing for me. So best of luck to you.
All right, thank you guys so much. Nikki will. Everybody go over to Twitter. I've got a brand new account. My old account is now a PR account, so I went from having 10,000 followers to none. I think I'm up to 400 now. But anyway, we're going to give away 25 hero cards if we can get my Twitter from 400 to 700 by tomorrow night. And if we can get it to 1,000 by end of next week, I think, we're going to give away some free pit passes to one of my races, maybe some hotel rooms and stuff. So 3 weekends Southern National Motorsports Park on us. My Twitter account is gmarchant77. It's same account name, but just different account. So please go over, give me a follow, and I'll appreciate it greatly.
Okay, thanks so much.
All right, no problem. Thank you, guys.
Good night. Go home. Go do your homework.
Oh, I'm at church, so I'm a good.
Okay.
So much for that 5 minutes
That's
or so.
that's even better.
Talk to you later, Garrett.
Thanks.
How's it going, Sean?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Pretty good. We've got Sean Corr on the phone with us now. How's things going today?
Pretty good. I just got done driving a truck down to North Carolina, and then from there I rode the Tahoe, drove down to Florida. So got one free day, so I figured run out to Orlando on some of the amusement parks.
Trying to be a globetrotter, it seems like all of a sudden, huh?
All of a sudden, what I do?
Go ahead and give everybody a little bit of information about yourself so they'll know where your roots are and everything else.
Sure. I've been started out running pure stock or street stock back in Orange County Fair Speedway. Ended up moving up into the Pro Stock Series. Got a bunch of wins, and championship with the Pro Stocks, and we did a jump to the ARCA Series in 2009, and I've been running that ever since, and just kind of started to dip our toe a little bit into running with the Cape World Truck Series boys.
So now, are you going full time on the Camping World Truck Series?
No, we sponsorship wise, we're looking for. We're still trying to find some marketing partners for our team to be able to do a full season. If anybody out there is looking to sponsor a race team at all, definitely go onto our website, check it out, EmpireRacingLLC.com. But right now we picked a bunch of races to do on the schedule this year. We're going to be doing 4 to 6 races, and probably about the same for the ARCA Series, 4 to 6.
Now, Sean, where are you from? Where do you live? Where were you born and reared? Give us a little bit of personal background.
Well, I'm from upstate New York, Orange County to be exact, and we got a 110-acre horse farm up there that I've grown up on, and I work full-time for a school bus company and do pretty much everything from delivering buses to every now and then they catch me with a spray gun painting buses, and right down to driving buses for the kids. So
now, when you say upstate New York, that's a pretty big area. Kind of hone in on exactly. Is it Syracuse or Binghamton or Watkins Glen or Elmira, or just exactly where?
It's just below Middletown. My town's called Goshen, New York.
Okay.
And it's in Orange County. We have Orange County Choppers about 10, 15 minutes away tops from where I live, and it's a nice area. It's just at the base of the Catskill Mountains.
Oh, okay. I know where you are, roughly. You probably know my friend Al Robinson. Al Robinson has been a track announcer at Dover, track announcer at Loudon, track announcer at Shangri-La, and all these kind of places. I think that you've done some ARCA races, and he's announced at some ARCA tracks. So you probably know Al Robinson from Waverly, New York. Not terribly far. He and the Bodine brothers all grew up together up in Waverly and Elmira and Chemung, up that way. So that's a little bit away from you, but the same state. So there you go.
I probably would know him from sight. I gotta imagine we have the big Super Dirt Week up in Syracuse, New York every year. And
Oh yeah.
You get a lot of big names up there. So I'd imagine I'd know him from sight just from running up there, especially.
Now, what does your season look like? You mentioned sponsorship is always an issue with everybody. You would like to run, I'm sure, a full schedule of something, but realistically, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, we have coming up on the schedule. We're going to be running Talladega with the ARCA Series on May 1st. Then May 17th, and then we're going to run Charlotte with the Truck Series. And from there, we have the two Pocono races, the ARCA race and then the truck race. We're kind of dabbling with the idea of running both the ARCA and the truck race when they come in August. But looking at we have both Pocono races. Maybe we'll throw in a race that ARCA's back this year to Kentucky, so we're kind of thinking about maybe running that Kentucky race. That was the first race I ever ran with the ARCA Series was Kentucky, and I was kind of bummed when they took it off the schedule, but now it's back on, so it's really tempting to jump back on there with.
I have often said that if a driver wins the ARCA Championship, and of course you'd have to run the whole schedule to do it, that an ARCA champion is probably far more well-rounded, well-versed champion than a NASCAR champion, because you run short tracks, big tracks, road courses, dirt tracks, which NASCAR doesn't do any longer except for one race coming up. But I think whoever an ARCA champion ever is, he's a pretty good driver. He's earned his chops.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a very, very diverse series. Like you said, like they have the road course tracks, the super speedways, short tracks, and then they got dirt tracks thrown in there. And that's another one I forgot from the list that we're going to try to run. We are going to try to run that truck series race out in Eldora there. I can't believe I forgot that. It's one of the races I'm most excited about this year. But we're going to run that. We ran the full season in 2011 with the ARCA Series and had a blast. We really got to go to some amazing racetracks, and it was a lot of fun being able to follow an old Cup style car out on a dirt track out on for the dirt races out in Springfield and DuQuoin, and that was kind of funny to see an old Cup car like that kick sideways, just drifting through the turns, but it was a lot of fun.
And then probably a week after, or maybe a week before, you were at a high bank, Salem, I guess. You raced at Salem, which is very much like Bristol, I guess.
A little bit, yeah.
But I mean, it's a high banked half mile, or is Salem a mile track?
No, Salem's definitely it's definitely around a half mile.
Okay,
It's a short track, without a doubt. I think right between the two dirt races, they had Winchester and Madison speedways in, which were both short tracks. And Winchester, that was one of my favorite racetracks. Actually, the track looked just like a dirt track that we have in upstate New York. That I swear they just slapped asphalt on it. It kind of has these long straightaways, these really tight, high bank turns, and kind of could go in there, burp the throttle, and get the car to dirt track right around the place, and it's asphalt. I had a blast doing it. It's one of the races I really wish I could run this year, and Madison's where we had our best finish until this past race at Daytona. We got a 5th at Daytona this year, and I think we got a 7th at Madison when we ran there in 2011.
Now, how old are you now, Sean?
I am, I'm getting up there. I just turned 29.
Oh, you're over the hill. Yeah, I'm saying.
Oh man,
you're awful. Do you still harbor some lingering hope that perhaps Nationwide might lead to Cup at some point, or are you sort of happy where you are?
I really, right now, just looking step by step, I really would love to do a full season in truck one day, or 1 year. But, yeah, it'd be great to be able to run a couple nationwide races, but right now just kind of focusing on where we're at. I'm really happy to be with the truck series, and I've always grown up loving watching the trucks race. And, if it doesn't pan out, I'll still be able to run the couple ARCA races here and there, and I still have my dirt car back up in New York, so I'll be able to dabble and get back on the dirt and play around too.
Yeah, generally speaking, on a race weekend, if trucks Nationwide and Cup are at the same place at the same time, which doesn't happen very often, trucks generally put on the best show. It's almost always a fact that trucks are a better show than anything else because they run slower, the aerodynamics doesn't come into play quite as much, and it just looks like you have more fun.
Yeah, there's definitely more action, I guess is the word for it. They are a handful to drive. They really are fun. It's just kind of like driving a brick. They don't have much aerodynamics. They really don't downforce, side force. They don't run well in the turns directly next to each other. They are a bit of a handful, but that is what makes them so much fun.
Yeah.
So having the challenge of trying to wheel one of them around and keep her on all four wheels and all four sides on it too.
Yeah, and I'm certain, I feel reasonably sure that there is a certain amount of pressure to perform well in a truck series, but it probably is not quite the pressure that the Nationwide and the Cup guys feel. I mean, there's pressure there, but I guess the higher up the ladder you go, the more pressure there is because there's more money, there's more exposure, there's more sponsorship to be happy with. So it looks like you guys kind of have a lot more fun than the Nationwide and Cup guys do.
We got one guy on there.
Yeah, I mean, we're a small team too. It is tough when you get the big teams that run the truck series to try to compete with. It really is tough to run with them, but that is the fun part about the ARCA series. The ARCA series, everything. I guess everybody's more little, mom and pop teams like ours. So at least we know we're competitive that way. We really don't have the funds and all to do a lot of the R&D some of those big teams have with the truck series. But we're slowly figuring out. We're getting a hold of different setups and stuff for track. So we had some issues with qualifying for the Daytona truck race, but we pretty much got it nailed down to what happened with the truck, and she'll be all set for the Talladega race if I go to run Talladega.
And that's coming up the trucks run there in in May or in October?
Actually, they run there in October.
Okay. Now, but ARCA will be there next month in May.
Yep, the ARC Series runs May 1st.
Okay. All right. Appreciate your time. Now, where are you right now? You mentioned you were driving somewhere?
Actually, I kind of got a day off from driving before I have to head back up to Frozen, New York. I got a day stuck down here in Florida that I didn't have anything going on. Oh, darn.
Sounds like you're eating a buffet.
Yeah, actually, I'm over at Universal Studios just kind of hanging out.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
We had the free day, and it was a little too chilly to head up to the beaches, so figured I'd inland and hit an amusement park. So.
Well, you'll have fun there. Well, go ahead and thank your sponsors real quick, and we'll let you get out of here.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on the show.
All righty then. Have a good one. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye now.
Bye. Moving right along, Brian Morehouse, it's your turn up to bat.
Hey, guys. Hello, Chris.
We'll throw the green flag and let you get rolling. How's that sounding?
Sounds good.
We haven't had you on here for a while.
Been a busy year so far. I mean, everything's been going 100 miles per hour. But I was going down to Daytona and doing the battle at the match at the beach, which was right before the Daytona 500. And we were down there for a whole week, and it's really 130 some hours in a week's time, but plenty of racing to get in. We really had a great time.
Got Al Pearce also in the house with us tonight.
Doing now?
Brian, I'm fine. How are you?
Doing good. How you doing?
Well, I'm okay. I'm just still aggravated at you guys.
Oh, come on now.
Now, you know, Kyle Larson should have been parked. I can't believe y'all let him get away with what he did.
Talking about the late model?
Yeah. And then the next night, the other two guys thought they could get away with the same thing, and you know, NASCAR sort of, well, they said, boys, have at it, and they did. So there you go.
I thought I saw you down there in the pit. You were at Daytona, weren't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought I saw you. Didn't get a chance to get over to you or anything, but yeah, I think that whole incident and everything, you know, the racing was good. Everything from the Keenan showdown to the mod to the late model. Steve talking, like you said, Kyle Larson really put on a great show. Really ran it down to the wire, and then it happened the next night with Steve Park and the Sonic. So yeah, it was quite interesting.
But I guess you're aware, if you think about it, none of the three drivers who took the white flag leading actually led when they got back around. So.
Last lap, the 150 laps.
Yep.
It was interesting to see, I tell you.
And I think in all, and I'm just kind of kidding with you a little bit, but I think in all fairness, I think if they have that thing again next year, I think people will be a little bit more accustomed to what they're doing. They'll be more accustomed to the absolutely flat track they're on. I mean, there's not an inch of banking, and I certainly don't expect it to be quite as ragged next year as it was this year.
Well, you know, it was all new to us this year. Of course, NASCAR and everyone wanted to try to get everything there at the track, you know, for the Pilot Week. It was a big thing to have all three series there at Daytona. As you said, it was definitely a flat track, and you know, it was new to all of us. Tried to put on the best show that we could. It was a great turnout between fans, race car drivers coming from all over, and even from Canada went down. And hopefully next year we can build off of that and be able to have a bigger showdown for all three divisions.
Yeah, I think it'll be better next year. I think, and I think maybe by next year when the newness wears off, the rule of thumb might be, okay, beating and banging is okay. If you hit a man one time and you don't take care of him then, you got to let him go. I think the thing, Brian, that people got upset with Larson about was that once he hit C.E. Falk and C.E. recovered, people felt like C.E. had earned the right at that moment to win the race. So he, I don't know that anybody would objected if he had hit CE and the first contact had moved him away, but it took 2 times to hit him, and I think that's what got folks most upset.
Yeah. And talking about these 2 drivers, young drivers that we've seen C.E. Falk develop out at Langley Speedway and moving around the states now, the South Boston Motor Mile and all that. Just talking about 2 great kids, and not even kids. I mean, my goodness, they're 25 and 20 now, but they're both great talent. Put it to you that way. I think they got a long future in racing. I thought CE really did a good job, and I think he has a lot of respect with everything. And I don't really think that Kyle Larson, really would have meant to do that. As you know, look at the things that happened to him throughout the weekend. I mean, he did have a rough weekend, but he doesn't seem like that type of driver. But, both of them were just, I saw them the next day at the hotel, and they're both really great competitors and really nice race car drivers to deal with.
Brian, tell some of our listeners and viewers now, you are now a NASCAR official living in Charlotte, but am I correct, you got your start up here?
Yeah, I got my start at Virginia Raceway. Like I said many times before, I tried racing and found out me and my dad were trying it on our own and didn't really know too much about the racing. And finally, my dad was real good friends with the owners of the track, and they brought him in and said, we could try to start helping him. And it was a little different, him working there, and me racing. It doesn't seem to work out too good like that. And finally, one night we were working on the car, and he turned around to me and said, "Son, you're working in a shipyard. You're, trying to earn every dollar you can. You can either write it all to Napa, or you can just go ahead and try to work for the track. Because I don't think this racing thing is good for you."
Yeah.
Right then and there, I knew I wasn't going to be a race car driver, so I decided to try to make a little bit of money and start working for the track. So they put me to work the next season, and I really enjoyed it. And next thing you knew, I really enjoyed dirt all the way. I mean, there was, nothing like it. And then all of a sudden, I got the experience of asphalt. Kenny Lee was the director over at Langley Speedway, and he had somebody quit, and I had just left Virginia Raceway, and decided that I wanted to try something new. And next thing you know, Kenny called me up and said, "Just help me out for 6 races. That's it, just 6." And I thought, that's no big deal. I could help you for 6 races. 6 races turned into a season. It turned into 6 seasons, and then turned into me coming down here to Charlotte, working to get on with NASCAR.
Has it been everything you hoped it would be, or were you not sure what you were getting into?
Sometimes I think it's not what it all seems like on TV, where everybody's smiling and everything's great. Those uniforms are hot. The travel's rugged. It's a dream come true. I can't lie about that. It's been an experience that I'm really glad that I was able to do, and I was able to live. It's always hard moving away from your family, and all my family is there in Yorktown and Gloucester, Virginia. And I miss the racing. I'm a short track guy. I enjoy the big tracks, don't get me wrong, but my love is always short track racing, and the route racing, and just getting down to the grassroots. But I'm really glad that I've done it. I've met a lot of people, enjoyed every minute of it. Sometimes, I'm at a short track on a Saturday night, and I drive a couple hours, sleep, and then I'm at Martinsville the next morning and working that race. So that part I didn't plan on, but I'm glad that I'm able to experience it, to be able to live the life of both worlds, to be able to do that.
All right, let's be brutally honest here about something. All right, brutally honest.
Uh-oh.
Occasionally, you will see things happen, whether on the racetrack, on pit road, in the garage, wherever, and the officials in your series make a call, they make a ruling of some sort, and honestly now, you have often thought, I'm not sure about that. How much freedom, Brian, do you have, not at that very moment perhaps, but how much freedom do you have to go to an official later on, maybe an older, more experienced guy, and say, you know what, why didn't we do this or that to him? Or are you such a team player that you figure what they say is the way it is?
Well, I mean, it's like in any organization or anywhere that you work. You may see something in a different light than the people upstairs do, but you witness it, and if you do see something, I mean, the best thing you can do is just be able, at any point in time, you can voice your opinion to your superiors or whatever, but in the long run, you've got to back up your organization. And there are times that I think that we think we see something, and we don't get to see the whole view of the track. Just like I talk to my family after every race, and they'll say, "Did you see this?" And I'm like, "I don't see nothing unless it comes down pit road. It's right in front of me, and it takes off. I see 12 seconds of the race." So it's really hard for me to see that. Now, if something happens in the pits, I've always been the type of guy that I'm going to let my other superiors know exactly what's going on. Years ago, 2003, I really felt bad about it out at Langley. Dale Lemons, who's one of the greatest guys I've probably ever met, grew up around him and everything else. He was racing legends, and he got out of his car. An incident happened on the track, and he went up, and there was a gentleman that had been racing there for years. He walked up to him and hit him on his head with his helmet on, and I felt like that was my right to be able to tell. Even though Dale was a good family friend and everything, I felt like I needed to let my management team know, and I did. At the end of the year, it cost Dale quite a bit. It cost him the championship. I felt bad about it, but I feel like I do the right thing. I mean, if you see something, of course, it's a lot different on short tracks than it is big tracks, but you see more stuff on a short track than you would actually at a Daytona or Michigan or Talladega or something like that.
Okay. We'll get you out of here with this one last question.
All righty.
Have you had to break up a fight yet? Have you been in the middle of one of those post-race driver disagreements where you had to jump in and play referee?
No, I haven't. I haven't had to do anything like that. I'll be really honest with you. Majority of the races, I mean, I know you're going to see situations like that occurred this weekend, but generally, if you look at it, I mean, that doesn't happen every weekend. And pit road's so big that it could be happening at one end and you're at the other. And I can't say that anything like that's happened in any of the series that I've been in, whether it's Camping World, Nationwide, or Cup, or even one of the touring series where something has broke out like that. Usually, I've had people, get heated, come over and talk, and you let them talk, and then, they want to stop their way.
Let me make this prediction.
Okay.
Eventually you will.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually.
I remember one time I got into one there at Langley Speedway, and, sometimes your adrenaline gets going. You don't want people to really get into it, and you get yourself really involved in it. Next thing you know, it seems like everybody's against you. But it's happened to me now on the lower circuit, and you learn your lesson. You know where to stand and everything else. Basically, you don't want to get hit. Definitely.
Well, just don't leave with your chin.
Exactly.
Brian, thanks. You appreciate your time. Will you be at Martinsville in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I come in next weekend, and I'll be down there. Roger, you going to be there?
I'm planning on it. Actually, we're going to have Mike Smith on next week talking about the race coming up out there. And he usually says, come on down, guys.
I'll be down there, I believe, for the truck, and I know I've got a Cup Sunday. So look forward to seeing you. Come see me.
Oh, you know I do.
We'll have a hot dog.
Okay, hey, that sounds great.
Okay, Brian.
Don't get stuck up in the tower this time.
I won't. I promise you that. But this time, if we eat the hot dog, I can't have no bread. I'm on one of those slim diets. pretty bad when you put on your extra large uniform and you feel like you need to go the next size up. Trying to lose weight. So.
Now you need to go walk Bristol a little bit more then, if that's the case.
Hey, you following him on Facebook?
I heard you had a little thing about a bird in the house there.
Yeah, a bird got in the Florida room, and I left the door open for him to get out. And next thing you know, I let Bristol out the next morning, and Bristol found the bird in the dark. And I got the bird away, but the bird didn't make it.
You say you left the door open?
I even left the door. Well, it was the doggy door.
There's your sign.
Yeah, and it was one of those things.
Okay.
Hey, Brian, I know you saw me post on there about having a husky. The husky I used to have, he would grab squirrels, possums, raccoons, and he would just grab them and shake his head so hard he would break their necks. The next thing I know, he's sitting back there resting on top of a possum or a raccoon getting ready to have a little dinner.
As long as it's not a snake. If it's a snake, the house goes up for sale.
Speaking of dinner, time for us to go.
Alrighty, guys. Hey, y'all take care. We'll see you in Martinsville.
All right, Brian. Have a good night.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
All right. We've done all the damage we can do for one night.
Oh, gosh. There's always more that can be done. Don't ever tempt the fates.
Yeah.
Like to thank let's see, how was it?
Don't say you'd like to. Just say
thank you for watching.
Right.
We'll see y'all next week.
If you'd like to do it, why don't you just do it?
Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, I'm Robert Richardson Jr., driver of the number 23 Dodge Challenger for R3 Motorsports in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and you're watching Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Timothy Peter, driver of the number 17 Toyota NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Here's your 2011 champion, David Brown.
Hi, this is David Polens, driver of the 33 NASCAR Late Model, 2011 Old Dominion Speedway Track Champion. Thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing TV.
I'm Sam Hunt, driver 42 car on the thing Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, my name is Natalie Sather. I drive the 94 K&N Lady Eagle Safety, where Butler builds seats,